I really am. When you lose a series 4-1, it's hard to, find that silver lining, because we didn't win, and that's what we came here for tonight, was to win the game. But as a head coach, I couldn't be more proud of a group that could have rolled over after the third game, fought at home to extend the series, and put ourselves in a great position. I mean, all these people out there, no one gave us a chance to win the series, and I think there are a lot of people that were saying that tonight was going to be a rout. We're going to get blown out. And that's not who we are, and so as a coach, for every player in that locker room that played, that didn't play, extremely proud for getting through an 82-game season with 48 wins in light of different injuries and circumstances, and playing a team that is battle-tested in the Golden State Warriors. In game 3, 4, and 5, we gave ourselves a chance every night. So I'm going to go home with my head held high, as are my players, and we know that we will continue to work and put the time in to come back a better team next season.
Nikola obviously gave you everything he had, I think 30, 19, and then foul trouble inhibited him in the fourth quarter. Was he laboring at all? Was he battling anything else throughout the game?
Yeah, I think going into the game, his hamstring was really tight. He was dealing with that a little bit. And let's be honest, just the cumulative toll of the bubble last season, this season, everything that has been placed on his shoulders, I'm sure he was definitely fatigued mentally, physically, emotionally. But he fights through it. I mean, that guy is a warrior. I just don't understand the people that find a way to criticize Nikola Jokic. Is he perfect? No, I'm not saying he is, but the guy is the definition of a warrior, competitive, consistent, and he impacts the game in so many ways. So, hell of a season, and hopefully he'll win the MVP again, because I think rightfully he deserves it.
Coach, the defense by both teams full throttle tonight. And when you look down at that stat sheet, how tough is it to avoid seeing the free throws missed?
Yeah, it's funny, Vic, when you bring that up, man. I know you can simplify this game as saying it's a make or miss league, but we leave 9 free throws on the board, 20 of 29, and just look at the three-point shooting. I mean, we were 6 of 29, 21%. They were 13 of 31. That was probably one of the things that it came down to. We rebounded them. We dominated the glass. We beat them on the break. We beat them in the paint. I thought we had great defensive possessions. To hold that team to 102 points in a closeout game in this building, I think phenomenal effort. We just needed some life, some of those open threes to go in to kind of get us over the hump, and we just didn't have it, unfortunately.
Michael, Austin's been a huge part of what you guys have done defensively. He's not out there in that second and third quarter when you guys seem to be at your best defensively. What stood out about what you guys did in those 2 quarters on that end?
I think just like we've done for years now, Vinny, one guy goes down, somebody else steps up. Austin is a guy that every time we've beaten this team, regular season and postseason, he's been a very key part of that. So when he goes down, I extended Monte, I extended Will, got Bones in the game, played Aaron, obviously, at the 3, and guys just stepped up. That's the biggest thing, man, like human nature. You're staring a 3-1 deficit in the face. Human nature is just roll over, man. Like, I'm ready to go home. And our guys don't have that, and I wouldn't let them have that. So everybody just stepped up. I think we were physical. We made them work. We had some breakdowns. Steph hit like 3 threes in a row. We were down the floor. And, he's a 2-time MVP winner himself. Like, he's a great player. And you have to give Gary Payton III a lot of credit, man. That guy made really key baskets for them. I think he had 15 points, made 3 threes, and it's tough when you give so much attention to Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole, and then other guys make the plays, and you have to tip your hat to those guys.
Michael, Nikola's obviously never going to complain, like, we know that, but could you get a feel throughout this season just how tough the load was that he had to carry, and if that weighed on him, from game 1 to game 82? Could you sense that at all?
Honestly, no. That's just, it's not in his nature. I think the most appalling trait of any human being is self-pity. And that's one thing you're never going to see Nikola Jokic have in his heart, in his mind. He's not a guy that feels sorry for himself. Was he tasked with a tremendous responsibility, Harrison? Yes, he was. But I think, all the other guys in that locker room did their best to try to help him throughout. And that's what makes him such a special player. He was able, 48 wins for this team. I think people look at that and just don't give that enough credit. I think that locker room and they're winning 48 games in the Western Conference is incredible. And once again, last 4 seasons, nobody in the West has won more than the guys in that locker room. And obviously, Nicole is a very, very, very big part of that.
Michael, DeMarcus, 19 points in 15 minutes. How satisfying, given your guys' history, was it to see that from him? And he's a free agent this summer. Do you want him back this summer or next season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'll let the. I'm gonna go to a private island in the South Pacific somewhere and drink some Mai Tais and think about the season in review. But all I'll say is this: I gave him a big hug in the locker room, and I gave him a shout out in front of his teammates. Here's a guy that was just hanging out at home in Las Vegas after being released by Milwaukee, and he goes out in an elimination game and puts up, as you said, 19 points in 15 minutes. Nicole is in foul trouble. We need somebody to steady the ship, and DeMarcus did that. So the biggest thing is I'm just really, really happy for DeMarcus Cousins, and I'm so proud of him for staying with it. And, he had an impactful run with the Denver Nuggets, and we'll figure out, the offseason in the coming weeks as we, me, Tim, and Josh sit down and talk.
Michael, these last 2 postseasons, you've had to work shorthanded. What is this team going to be like when it's fully healthy, with a healthy Jamal Murray and healthy Michael Porter Jr. to go with a possible 2-time MVP?
Yeah, I think it's scary to think about that. It's I go back to last season before Jamal's injury in this building, and we felt we had a legitimate chance to win a championship last year. And unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards for us. Jamal suffers the ACL. Earlier this season, Michael Porter Jr. suffers a back. And you're playing without 2 max players that have both helped us advance out of the first round the last 3 years. So when they're getting back and they're healthy, I think that's going to make us a deeper, more talented team. And I'm excited about that. I really am. I think the future is very, very bright for the Denver Nuggets.
Coach, Aaron Gordon, at times, he went beast mode tonight. What sparked that? What triggered that change in aggressive play by him?
Yeah, I really think, Vic, it was when we left San Francisco after Game 2. I think Aaron was probably just really, really hard on himself. I think he realized that in Game 1 and 2, he did not have the performance or impact that his standards, he didn't live up to. And, it was really simple coming back because I felt, not just tonight, Vic, I felt Game 3, 4, and 5, I felt Aaron Gordon was the Aaron Gordon that we need for the next 3-4 years as we make a run to a championship. An aggressive Aaron Gordon, a physical Aaron Gordon, a guy that just sitting down in the post, getting big, attacking the basket, getting offensive rebounds, running, defending, everything that we asked him to do. So I was, 15 and 9 tonight, 2 block shots. Got to the foul line 8 times, 6 offensive rebounds. So an aggressive Aaron Gordon is an effective Aaron Gordon, and that's what we need from Aaron every night.
Michael, you mentioned the future, but can you expound a little bit on how you see this group the next couple of years? Joker's still young. Obviously, you get Jamal back. Hopefully Michael's back is good, but that success the last couple of years and where y'all can take this. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think it's, as I mentioned, the future is definitely bright, Sam. I think we also have to understand that, Jamal Murray to start the season next year is not going to be the Jamal Murray right away. I think it's going to be a build-up. It's going to be him getting comfortable and confident out there. But when I did it during the first 2 games here, I went back, I couldn't sleep one night. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm looking at what Jamal Murray's stats were in the bubble. I'm saying, wow, I knew he was good, but sometimes you forget how good he was. And that's the thing about Jamal. When the stakes are at their highest, he steps up and is never afraid of the moment. And Michael Porter, what he did last year in 10 playoff games, 17 points, 6 rebounds, but more importantly, shooting, a really high clip from the three-point line. Shooting makes up for so many things, and Jamal and Michael can do that. But with all that being said, I don't want to spend all this time talking about Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, because the guys that played this whole season and just gave their all and put us in this position, I think deserve so much love and respect. And I know I have that for those guys. So whenever the season ends, it's really hard. You're on this long journey since September, nonstop. And I always use the analogy. It's like being on a subway car. Somebody just pulled the emergency brake. And it's hard. For those guys, for me, for the coaches, tremendous staff. David, Jordy, Popeye, the guys behind the bench, Ryan Bowen, Charles Klask. I couldn't ask for a better staff who works their butts off. So tough way to go out. Losing sucks. And the last thing I'll say, I'll leave on this. Congratulations to Golden State. A very good team. Steve Kerr, Mike Brown, Kenny Atkinson, their whole coaching staff. Good people over there, great coaches, and I wish those guys well. Thanks, everybody.